Or you get bored when you study? After 2 minutes of studying, you feel distracted? Don't worry and stay tuned. Hello guys and welcome to my channel. This is really disgusting to get distracted when we are studying, or even when we study for a long period of time, but nothing goes here. And in this video, I'm going to talk a little bit about how to stay focused when you're studying. Before that, if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel and give this video a thumbs up. Let's get it started. So, the first step to be focused in studying is knowing and removing the distractions. Identify which objects distracts you. For example, technology. Technology is a good thing and bad thing at the same time. We can solve our problems, we can communicate with the people around the world, or learn something with that. But in the meantime, when it comes to be focused on something, it will distract us and interrupt into our focus. Facebook, Instagram, email, getting notifications from these apps and checking them ruin our focus and concentration. Besides that, watching TV, Netflix videos, and games are the second distracting elements. It just wastes our time. Watching bullshit content. It also has a bad effect on eyes. So the first step you should take, and the only solution, is to make sure to remove any objects that distracts your focus and concentration. Just itemize the distracting elements and write them on a sheet of a paper. Cell phone, computer, TV, children, even the temperature of your room affects on your focus. Your room's temperature should be normal, not too cold, not too hot. Before starting studying, you're allowed to reply to your message, to check your emails. And when you start studying, you must throw them away. Under any circumstances, silence your phone or even turn it off and put them somewhere out of your sight and not in your accessible place. And when you remove the distracting objects away, then it's time to study effectively. Start reading a book or working on your project first 5 minutes and take 1 minute break. Start it again, work 10 minutes, 2-minute breaks, work 20 minutes, 3-minute breaks, and work 30 minutes and 5 minutes break. Use this technique to improve your focus point, and then you will get used to it subconsciously. Your focus ability will improve, and then there will be no need to take break in every 5 or 10 minutes. At first, you should take these baby steps to become familiar with the process, and then it will become easier and you will stick to your project without planning the time for reading and for breaks. Remember, I said before that the room's temperature affects into our focus. For efficient studying, we have to have a separate room for studying. I mean, when we study, we shouldn't study in our bedroom. Because studying and sleeping in the same room, our brain get confused and it can't decide, should I study or rest? Because we have done it in the same room. But if we don't have a separate room for studying, then it's okay. The lighting in a studying room must be ideal, getting everything you need during your studying. For example, pens, papers, bottle of water, or even coffee, whatever you need, have it with yourself. If you're working with your computer, it has to be fully charged. And most importantly, the time of studying. We must find when we are more productive. For everybody, it's personal and different. You have to find yourself in which time you're more productive. Study in the morning, study in the evening, or at night. But it has proved that the morning time is often the best time to learn new theories and grasp complex concepts. If you feel yourself free in the afternoon or at night, just do it, based on your productivity time. The second step is background music. Someone study while playing a relaxing music in background. How does it work? Personally, I don't feel comfortable studying while music is playing in the background. For somebody, it works. But I think that the brain spends more energy to grasp all the data of what you're studying and what are played in background. This is my opinion. I never say that it's 100% right or wrong. Consciously, we don't feel this, but subconsciously, brain reacts and processes the data inside itself and spend more energy. If you feel yourself comfortable, there is no big deal. But if you don't, I suggest you don't do it, even if the greatest mind coaches tells you. But sometimes, inevitably, there is some noise. Maybe children are playing, or your parents are watching TV, whatever. For covering this noise, you can play and listen to relaxing music. Number 3, Pareto Principle. The Pareto Principle, also known as 80-20 rules. Wilfredo Pareto was an Italian economist, said that 20% of population in Italy owned 80% of the property. He proposed that this ratio could be found in many places in physical world, and it might indicate a natural law. This is some examples of Pareto Principle to give you a better idea of how does it work. 20% of employees produce 80% of companies' results. 20% of the software bugs cause 80% of the software failures. 20% of the company's investments produce 80% of its investment profits. We can observe everything in this world following this principle. 20% of seeds planted result in 80% of the flowers. The Pareto Principle defines that 80% of your effort comes from 20% of your results. How to use from Pareto Principle in studying. Your study book is just filled with examples, explanations, and not really needed information. Only 20% of the book gives you 95% of the information. The rest of the book is filling and different ways of saying the same thing again. Whenever you read a book, use a simple reading tactic. Only read the first and the last sentence of each paragraph. I mean the overall idea of the whole paragraphs summarized in the first and the last part of the sentence. They introduce the idea for that paragraph. The last sentence is a summary of that, and the middle part is explaining more about the first sentence defines. Also, by reading the introduction and the chapter summary will give you a lot of information, and you may already understand most of what the summary tells you. This way you can focus more on the things that you exactly don't know. Or even your teacher comes to class and talk about some topics 2 hours. Just 20% of that 2 hours is the whole concept. Rest of them are explanations and examples. If you will be able to use from this technique, then there is no need to be under stress the time of your exams. And the last one, I want to give you a small medical advice. Having enough S and S. The first S is sleep, and the second S is sugar. Sleep and sugar. Sleeping can recharge your body and mind. It's recommended that we should get 7 up to 8 hours of sleep per night. Not getting enough sleep is the cause of daytime sleepiness. It's a sign that you're not getting enough sleep at night. Not getting enough sleep on a regular basis can also lead us to more long-term health consequences, such as getting sick more often, high blood pressure, depression, and decreasing our focus and concentrations. This is why we can focus on our tasks. And sugar. Our brain's fuel is sugar. I mean glucose. It's a form of sugar and the primary source of energy for the brain. Brain functions such as thinking, memory, and learning are linked to glucose level and how efficiently the brain uses from this fuel source. Everything needs energy. The energy for our brain is glucose, so make sure to have enough glucose. But it doesn't mean etc. consumption of sugar is good for developing your brain function. For knowing the exact amount of glucose you should take, please call to your doctors. This was for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, And please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for my next video notification. And please motivate me with your likes and sharing my videos with your friends. Wish you the best.